on my phone also. My fault. I'm doing too much. So I was trying to get on. I had people on StreamYard. They left because I was bullshitting. But so I was trying to get StreamYard on my phone so I could show the slides, but it just ain't gonna work like that. So it's cool though. We good though. We rocking. Yeah, it ain't gonna make a difference though. But I'm gonna have to leave out and come back in. Hold on. Okay, we good now. We good now.
Shout out to the people on Rumble. Shout out everybody on the stage. Shout out everybody in the booth. It's gonna be a good one. Did we come here on slave ships? That's the question. Did we? It's a good topic right there. Tune into our Rumble channel. We gonna host debates every weekend, every Saturday. Scholarship Saturday we gonna call it, but I mean this event right here is called a walk down. Man, it's been some walk downs tonight. Yeah, we rocking, man. You ready, UT? I mean,
Nah,
gotta get this kicked off.
I'm good, guy. We
my man. Oh, he changed the PTR. Not the slave ship PTR. Oh, nasty word. Nasty word.
Hey, what's wrong with my phone bugging? I'm ready. Let's get it. How we gonna do it? Go ahead.
Coming out of Milwaukee, coming out of the mean streets of Milwaukee, we got General UT. He believes that we did come off of slave ships. Come here on slave ships. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it's Madison. Madison,
Milwaukee?
not Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin, my bad. Sorry. I don't know where I got Milwaukee from. Madison, Wisconsin, my bad. Sorry, y'all. They're coming out of Newark, New Jersey. You got your boy Brick. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, sir. Let's get this spun off. Brick believes
Y'all old family.
The slave ships is a myth. Or maybe we didn't come here on slave ships. We'll find out. Y'all know the rules, right? 10 minute rounds with a 2-minute window for a rebuttal. Keep it clean. You know, no name calling, no low blows. Pause. You know, let's get this kicked off. Does somebody want to go first, or should I flip a coin?
He can kick it off. I ain't got no problem with that guy.
You can flip a coin.
Okay.
It don't matter.
He can kick it off. I ain't got no problem with that guy. You can kick it off.
Hey yo, I can kick it off, right?
Yeah.
Alright, say less.
Now tell him when to start the clock, Eddie, and then he can do his 2-minute intro.
Hold on, 2 seconds.
Okay, there we go. My fault. If y'all watching me on StreamYard, I gotta get my slides together for my PowerPoint, so I am gonna be moving things around a little bit. So that's what it is. I know StreamYard like, dude, tripping. Okay, there we go. It's better if I do it this way, y'all.
All right, so we got 2-minute intros. Rick, you say you want to set it off?
Yeah,
we flip
it's better if I do it like
I think
this.
we should flip the coin on this one, man. I think we should flip the coin on this one. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna flip the coin, man. Somebody call heads, tails. What we doing, man? Let me get my change jar real quick. I got a coin right here, bro. So, heads, tails, what? Tails, all right. Flipping the coin. And it is heads. It's heads. General.
All right, give me 30 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. I'm just pulling my StreamYard up, and then we rocking.
Yeah. I mean, you want him to go first, or you want to go first? Because it's on you. It's on you to decide.
Oh, I want him to go first.
All right, so that's just on you. For a 2-minute intro.
2-minute intro.
When I start.
When I start now?
Yeah, you can start now. As soon as you start talking, I'll start the timer.
I don't know.
All right, StreamYard, I got it together now. It ain't gonna be raggedy no more. I can see what I'm doing, and I can see what y'all doing. Only thing I need
straight up,
is
plain
the
simple. Ain't nothing more to it. My whole thing, my whole thing is, if you take a look at my PTR, man, see that? You see all the people. You see all those Africans lined up, laced up, loaded up. On that ship right there, that big ass ship right there. You mean to tell me that they did that from 1526 to 1867 and brung 12.5 million people over there like that? Our strong black Africans. Wrong. I'm done.
Landon?
I land.
Okay. For those of you on Rumble that aren't in the room, his PTR, which is his picture, like a profile picture basically, he has some slave ships with a lot of potential slaves in it. I mean, wish I could show to you, but that's pretty much what he's showing right now. So what's supposed to be a slave ship and how they were allegedly placed on these ships. So, all right, General, it's on you. 2 minutes. Opening statement.
Okay, so if we didn't come on slave ships, then we have questions to answer. We have to say, where did we come from? And then people will say, well, we was already here. I got no argument with that. Where was we at before we got here? See, so these questions have to be answered because we can't just say it didn't happen. We have to prove it didn't happen or prove it did. So today, my brother say he want to see some slave ships. We're going to look at some slave ships. And I'm going to prove without a doubt, it won't be a question in your mind when you leave here if Africans got to this country on slave ships. I'm going to prove it with evidence that can't be refuted. And then we have to establish where we came from and how we got here. We're going to prove all of that tonight. And it's necessary because this is something we've been arguing about for a lot amongst the community. So let's get some answers.
Well said. All right. So first round is gonna be on break. You got 10 minutes. State your argument.
Look, check it out. For the most part, and see, this is where it gets tricky at, right? See, I'm not going to dispute whether captured Africans were brought and sold and transported to the Americas, you know what I'm saying, by ship. I'm not going to dispute that. What I want to dispute is the amount of people in the time period of them bringing and saying that they brought slaves over here, right? Because at the end of the day, we was told that it was 12 million to 12.5 million slaves brought over here from the 15th through the 18th century. In my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that's impossible. Impossible. Now, you want to know, you saying, how did we get here? You want to know if we was already here? Now, I had some theories that can explain how we were already here, because what side you take is going to be, you know what I'm saying, if you believe or not. See, I believe strong in my Native American roots because, as I demonstrated here before, I have a strong Native American lineage. I showed pictures of my great-grandmother, straight Indian. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that, yes, there was people already here. I don't come from no slave ship. You know what I'm saying? Because, like on my PTR, this is the image that they give you. They give you this image, and the image that they giving you is to try to break you down mentally. They want to break you down already mentally. They're like, yo, from the beginning, you was already nothing. See, this is the whole thing of the whole slavery thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, they want to let you know, like, yo, you already, you know what I'm saying? Nah, before you was even born, you want nothing. Nah, I don't come from that, bro. Like, I don't come from that. I don't come from somebody telling me that this is how my people was transported over here. Like some mangy munch in the bottom of a boat. You know what I'm saying? That typically at that time period, ships could not even carry those many people. And for the most part, if we understand how ships work, ships normally can't go across oceans. They have to follow certain currents or they get lost at sea. That's another point. Where was the navigate? Man, where the Mars at? Where the Mars at? Come on, man, where the Mars at? Where we have, if you ever been on a ship, cruise ship, anything like that, they coast the line, they like to, you know what I'm saying, stay close, because even with GPS, you still get lost at sea. You get rescued nowadays. But even then, a lot of ships back then would get lost at sea trying to make these voyages. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that they can't do it. So I'm not going to believe these ships was out to sea for 2, 3, sometimes 4 months, bringing people like that with these inhumane conditions from West Africa to the Americas. Because at first, they came to Brazil, so-called. They landed in Brazil, shot their way up, and that's how they got to America. But let them tell it, they landed in Jamestown first. So which one is it? You get what I'm saying? Like, you see how they try to flip-flop you. They want you to believe one thing. Oh, yeah, they shot from West Africa to Brazil. And then they shot them up. And then that's how America, this is what we did with the Africans in America. Nah, we ain't telling you that. And I'm not trying to dispute anybody's belief, because you can believe what you want and need to believe for you. But I'm just going to argue my point on why I believe that we didn't come on slave ships. And I'm gonna say this: we didn't come on slave ships the way they talk. You get what I'm saying? Because we said this before. I'm not going to dispute that they didn't bring slaves over here, because I know they did. I'm going to dispute the 12.5 million slaves that helped populate the Americas. That already has been populated since the last ice age. I'm gonna prove that too. I'm gonna land on that.
You laid in there, Brick?
I'll land.
All right, well said, well said. All right, that was Brick. To his point, General, you got 2 minutes to rebuttal it, and then we go on to your round.
I'm ready. You started?
On you. So
Oh, okay, we're going. All right, so now, all right, good first round, Brick. Now that's kind of tricky. My brother Brick trying to be tricky, so we got to deal with this. Okay, so now initially, I just have to state the debate is we didn't come off slave ships. So now, if we're debating the number of people who came on the slave ships, that wasn't really my debate. So now, as far as the how they came, that can easily be proved. And if we actually came or not, that could be proved. So what I'm contending, the brother said a couple times, we ain't come off no slave ships. So that's what I'm dealing with. Did we or did we not come off slave ships? We can't, neither one of us can really attest to the number because that fluctuates. So that's not even what the argument is. The argument is, were we here already? And if we were here already, how did we get here? We have to, because what's happening is people are trying to disconnect us from quote unquote Africa. So the question is, did we come off slave ships or were we here already? And if we were here already, how did we get here? Or are we going to say that the beginning of life started in America? Because my round two going to deal with that too. So we just have to see what the argument is and then decide where we're going to go with it. But as far as the whole slave ship thing, we're going to deal with that in my first round, so I don't got to worry about it no more. I'm done.
All right, so on to your round, General. You got 10 minutes. It's on you.
All right, let's cook. So now, like I say, topic of the debate is, did we come off slave ships? So now, the first thing I got is something that I showed in the last debate, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper. So we got the last American slave ship was discovered in Alabama. Okay, so now I'm looking at, this is from the African Heritage Museum, and it's got the slave ship manifesto in New Orleans from 1807 to 1860. This is the coastwide vessel found in the New Orleans port. So we got the official manifesto from the National Archives. So this is something that this is from archives.gov. This is something that can't be forged. This can't be a fake thing. So now this is for the actual, the schooner Clotilda smuggled African captives into the U.S. in 1860. Now, the problem was in 1808, it was outlawed to import slaves. So you could move slaves about the country, but you couldn't bring them into the country anymore after 1808. So if they was never coming from out the country in the first place, why make a law that says you can't import them anymore? So obviously they was bringing slaves in. Now we got the National Archives. This is in Atlanta. This is from the Clotilda, the same boat we was just talking about. Now this is the U.S. Circuit Court in Alabama. This is the case. This is the mixed cases The case number is 3516 from 1837 to 1860 with several cases. Now, this is the United States District Court versus John M. Dehaney. Now, this is the captain of the ship. Now, what happened is, like I said, they got caught trying to bring African slaves into the country after the allotted time, and they all got pent up. So this is the what we're looking at is the actual circuit court's case files, telling y'all everything I just said. Now, it says they were carrying 103 slaves from a foreign kingdom. Hold on, I should have highlighted it so I can get the exact space, but y'all can look it up. It's right here. They transporting cargo was hold on. They landed in the Port Texas and Louisiana, Cuba, Mexico. This is all the places that the vessel stopped at. The next thing we're gonna go to is the National Register of Historic Places. This is they have to register something. So rare firsthand accounts left by the slaveholders as well as victims offer a one-hand window into the Atlantic slave trade, says Sylvian Duoff, a noted historian of the African diaspora. So this is a historian from the African diaspora that broke down this whole voyage in the Atlantic slave trade. That's what I'm looking at right here. This is from the nationalgeographic.com. You can look it up. Clotilda, the last American slave ship, on the nationalgeographic.com. Now, the National Register, this is the actual registration. When you have something historical, you have to register with the United States. So this is the actual registration form we're looking at from 9/7/21 and signed. So this is the real deal, saying that this African slave ship was found and they documented it as a national relic, a historical relic. So, and then the last thing I got is this is just port documents. After Congress prohibited the foreign importation of slaves into the United States in 1808, slaves were still sold and transported within the boundaries of the United States. Okay, now we just looking at, y'all can't see this, but I just got port documents from all over the place telling you what the cargo was, where they came from, where in Africa they came from, how many slaves they had, and all that type of shit. So this is just a long list of information to show you that they actually did go to Africa and bring slaves back, and they did it for hundreds of years. Now, the numbers can be argued, but I guarantee you, I'm going to take more than the 6 million of the Jewish Holocaust. So if we're going to debate over 6 million, I'll debate that. But as far as saying exactly was it 12, that's not my argument. And I'll land there.
All right, well said. All right, so 1 second. I think we need to make sure we are arguing what the point if we came here on slave ships. Is that the focus, or are we focusing on the numbers? Because that makes it a totally different debate. Right?
What you say, bro?
I said, are we focusing on whether or not we came here on slave ships and that they didn't exist or whatever, or are we focusing on the numbers? Because that's a totally different debate. I don't think he's debating. I mean, because I think if you're saying that we came here on slave ships, then it makes the argument kind of null and void.
Nah, because this is what I said. This is what I said before. By the fact that I said I explained it yesterday. I'm not I can't argue that. Like, I can't argue that slaves wasn't brought over here because we can assume that's how shit happened. But if I'm gonna argue that we wasn't brought over here on slaves, I can't argue that. Numbers, how we got here, and this Clotilda, I can argue that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my main argument because I came ready for that. Like, because I'm not going to discredit that, but all that other extra stuff that because this is the thing with the slave ships. You know what I'm saying? We trust in.
One second, because if we want to go into the debate, we got to start the time. I'm just asking, are we where we heading with the debate? Because we need to make sure that we, on the same page. He's saying that we came here on slave ships, and the debate was we didn't come here on slave. Your debate was we didn't come here on slave ships.
I mean, if you want, if to keep the party going, we can keep it.
All right, so I'm gonna start your time. 10 minutes. Let's see what you got to say. Hopefully, it still feeds into that same narrative. Start your time whenever you're ready.
You go ahead. I'm this Miss Clotilda, right? That we want to reference as a slave ship that was found between 1859 to 1860. That's when they found it, right? And it was sunk for what, 160 years? That's what they said. So, and surprisingly, right, this is not a shot. I don't throw disrespect in debates. I don't do that. But we pulling up documents from the same government that's lying to us and that we fighting. But it's like, these are the same people that's allowed to tell us anything, right? But I just want to bring some facts real quick. I want to say this. Normally, typically, let's say back then, with these cargo ships, these sail ships, these wooden ships, right? They were the ones that bring slaves over. Now my thing is this: typically, wood, depending on you got your cedar, oak, you got your pine, all different types of wood, and then pause that. But the reason I'm making my point is because if we got something that's sunken for 160 years, it would have been evaporated. It would have been corroded. It would have been null and void for anybody to find out. Like, oh yeah, that's the Clotilda. And from the image that they show of this Clotilda, isn't it a like a little piece of like a corner or like something? It's, to me, it would be impossible to know. Like, this came from a boat that was transporting 110 people. You get what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't make sense to me. So this same government that we trust, that we love, is going to give us a slave ship. They gave us that. Because before, they would tell us, oh yeah, y'all came over there on slave ships. But where are the ships? For years, they told us, oh, we can't find none. They burnt them and they buried them. They put them in shipyard because that's where they said they found the Clotilda at. And a boat, shipwreck yard. And it's like they just pull any piece of wood out the water pause and say, this is the Clotilda where the last known slaves from 1859 to 1860 came on. And it was a whole, and in that manifesto, that was the whole crew. That was the whole crew. From Africa to Alabama. Come on. How long was they out there at sea on that? So my thing is, are we just going like believe anything and everything that they tell us? Or is we just gonna start really make sense of it and start wanting to be connected to a land that is great, but we can't connect our heritage. Not everyone can connect their heritage to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. I learned.
All right. You got a 2-minute rebuttal, General.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, so now that's like a lot of us is from the street, so we can relate to this. When somebody say somebody's snitching, what we say, don't put that, and y'all say this to me in CMB. If you ain't got that evidence, don't put that jacket on them. If you ain't got that paperwork, we need paperwork to prove things. If you want to know if somebody's snitching, we look at the paperwork. We believe what the white folks say when we see the paperwork then. So my point is, when you go to court, it's documented. Just that simple. I got the court proceedings. I ain't take nobody word for it. I went to the government archives on the national website and got something that you could get about anything going on in this country. The court report with the case number. That's you can't get too much more evidence than the court records and the case number. So yeah, people lie. They lie. They could be lying about all of this information. If that's the case, anything we read that we view as truth could be a lie if we're gonna go that route. So we have to, of course, be cautious of what we take in. But at the same time, at some point, we got to say, hey, I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And that's just what it is. There's no way around that aspect. Now, as far as who found the ship, African divers. So this wasn't all white people involved. It was some Africans, some black folks was involved. And if a ship goes down, they can tell you where the ship got lost at sea at. They got a general vicinity. That's how we find anything. So how many times have we, people have gone down to the ocean and found artifacts thousands of years old that was still intact. So we know sometimes this happens. Now, in the information that I put forth, I also got what they found that led them to this belief. It ain't like they found one big ass boat. They found pieces of it and they put it together like, oh, wait a minute, this is a piece of a boat. Oh, this is a rusted boat to hold a sail together. Okay, wait a minute. What could have possibly went down in this area? This is how you investigate the sea. So that's just, it is what it is. If we can't trust the evidence that we find, then there's no sense of looking for the evidence. And I'll land there.
Okay. General, 10 minutes on you. So this close out the second round.
Okay, so now here we go. So now we gonna start like this. The guy said something about the current, so let's deal with this. Okay, you got something called the Slave Coast of West Africa. They named this specific region in West Africa. Okay, now why they name it the Slave Coast? It's a historical name formerly used for the part of the coastal West Africa along the Bay of the Benin, Benin, my fault. This is located between the Volta River and the Logos Lagoon. So now I'm showing a picture of what they call the Slave Coast, or and you can look right around the coast of West Africa. This is where they was coming to get the slaves from. Now, I brought this up before. You got something called, during the Atlantic slave trade, they used something called the triangle trade routes. Now, in this trade route, coming along that coast where I just showed y'all, when you come from there, you go to South America. Then from South America, you can get to North America. So all trips weren't going straight from Africa to North America. Sometimes they did, but not always. But now, the brother said something about the current. So now this is important. The particular routes were also shaped by the powerful influence of winds and currents. For example, from the main trading nations of Western Europe, it was much easier to sail westward after first going south 30 degrees north latitude, thus arriving in the Caribbean rather than going straight west to the North American mainland. So what this is telling you is, and I got some information that's about to support that, these they got aware of the current, and I'm going to show y'all exactly how they got aware of the current, and it wasn't in a good way. So they became aware of this current and learned how to use it and learn what time of year you could take it, and this current could bring you damn near to the Americas. So now you got somebody called hold on one second. Mansa Abu Bakr. Now, this is Mansa Musa's older brother. That's who really was. We always be talking about the richest man in history is Mansa Musa, but nobody ever talk about his brother. Now, his brother was the king. His brother sent 200. He ordered a crew of 200 ships, and he was sending them to the Americas. They wasn't calling it the Americas back then, but to the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Take the Atlantic Ocean as far as you can go. Well, if you do that, you're going to end up in South America, which is going to take you to North America or whatever. So he sent 200 ships. Only one ship returned. When the dude came back, he asked him what happened, and he said, the other ships got caught up in a current. I didn't go, which led to him sending a new fleet of 1,000 ships. And it is reported that Abu Bakr is one of the first to reach the Americas. This was in 1311. So ever since then, now, when you look at that famous picture that everybody shows of Mansa Musa when he's carrying all them trunks of gold and all of that shit, that was on his trip. So when we talking about what these ships couldn't carry way back in the days and all that, Mansa Musa was traveling across the country with tons of gold in big ass boats in 1311. So we got to be leery to not count our people out and say what couldn't happen because of the same thing this brother's saying, the information that these people give us. So yeah, they're going to lie, but a lot of times they're lying to make us not look. So we got to be willing to dig a little bit deeper and say, okay, because I'm finding trouble with the number of the slave ships, that don't mean it didn't have none. It just mean they lied about the number. And then we could deal with that. But who stands to gain the most from this disconnecting us from Africa? Not us. If you melanated, that means you 666 bloodline. It doesn't matter a landmass. All these land masses were named by the oppressors, so that doesn't matter. When I say Africa, I'm uniting people in ideology. I don't care about the landmass in that aspect. That's not what we're talking about. If you melanated, we all getting attacked. We can't afford not to work together. So when I hear this, we didn't come on slave ships and we not African, to me, it just seems like the only people really benefiting, if we accept that, is the oppressor. The oppressor benefits from us disconnecting from the most powerful landmass ever created on this planet. It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't see no logic in it. And so that's why we have to understand we do a disservice to our ancestors because people got thrown off those boats. Some people jumped off the boats. they lost their children on them boats. Them boats happened, and it was horrific. So we can't diminish their struggle and say it didn't happen. And I'll land on that.
Okay, that's tough right there. Rick, you got 2 minutes to rebuttal that? Or you, whenever?
Yeah, I got 2 minutes to rebuttal. First, let's say this. I don't play with no paperwork at all. If it ain't mine, if it ain't got nothing to do with nothing I'm dealing with, I don't play with nothing. I don't care who it come from, who, court, government, any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just straight up. But at the end of the day, my thing is this, is I hear, you know, they want to point everybody in the other direction to, you know what I'm saying, not let us look or realize that there's great land where we come from or air quotes come from. You know what I'm saying? We not from there. They want to deprive us of not thinking that we come from there. But technically speaking, all man was created in Africa. So if you want to go with that ideology, you can't disconnect yourself from Africa. But you're still not going to sit and tell me that these people went and ran up. Because you got now we got different stories. Hold on, 10 seconds. We got different stories. We got these big 200 some pound, 100 some pound Africans, athletic, big niggas. They gonna let these people run up there and take us. That's the first thing. Second, and then, you know what's funny to me? When they say they came to America, how was they to identify that what they found in America or where they shipped to was America if they didn't know what America was? You know what I'm saying? Like, this Turtle Island that the natives gave this land, how is they known to call that America? That's what the government gonna keep telling us what they did and what they gave us and what they did, what they took away from us, and how we got here and how we got lost, right?
Okay.
Okay, my brother.
That's your 2 minutes. That's your 2 minutes break. Whenever you're ready, you can start your time.
We can ride. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna be long on this. I'm gonna say this, right? Now, this is a story, right? I ain't even gonna find it and say, oh yeah, my grandmother told me this story a long time ago. No. But what I will tell you is that my grandmother told me a story that her grandmother told her about how people populated the Americas, air quotes, right? Now, before the last ice age, well, after the last ice age, right? A land it's supposedly a land bridge that can connect Alaska to Eastern, at the time, Soviet Union, Russia. And after that, during certain times of the year, the land the water would go down to a point where the land could freeze and the people could walk over. Anybody who believes in Native American, you know what I'm saying, indigenous people, they know that they was great builders, they built great boats, they was great carpenters, great hunters, great inventors. So they would make these track shoes that look like tennis rackets, right? And they would make them different for the snow. So this voyage that they would take, because let's think 11 12,000 years ago, these lands were somewhat closer because, you know what I'm saying, you know, the lands were separated. If you take all the lands and put them together, it's a big ass jigsaw puzzle. So they took this voyage. So it was called, the land bridge was called, the fuck was it, man? I had to write that word. I had to write the word down. Baringa. It's a landmass. Baringa. And every so often, for years, it would, like I said, the water would like precipitate and it would freeze, and that's how they would cross over. That's how they got into the Americas to populate the Americas. So it started from Alaska to moving on down. Now, the bullshit way they saying that niggas came from West Africa, from West Africa to Brazil up was bullshit. Because in 1492, 1492, right? That's when the man Christopher discovered America, right? So-called. But it was people already here, so I could just discover something that was already found. But this is something, again, that our government has taught us. And they was written down in our school books for us to learn. I think that's the more worse than a court document. Court documents can be made up. Any judge can sign up on a court document. But they giving they're giving us and our youth this bullshit to be like, yo, listen, yeah, this is how it happened. This is this non-Italian South America. Now all of a sudden, yeah, he didn't find America. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? So how we got here? If I'm going to stick to what I believe and my heritage, I'm going to believe that. I'm going to believe that it was a land bridge so close together that our people came from Russia to Alaska to America. Well, Alaska. And you also got to understand and look at this. Look at the percentage of Native Americans in Alaska versus the whole United States. Look at that. I ain't got no numbers. But you can look, you can go on National Geographic, you can go on Census. They'll tell you it's a lot of Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? It just took some time it took a while for the, you know what I'm saying, move across the whole Americas. Because this whole thing with history, I think, is bullshit. So, I'm gonna let it go.
You landed?
I land, brother.
All right. Well said. That was the third round on brick.
Hey, I don't even want to do the rebuttal aspect, bro, because my last round kind of is what he's saying, so we could just do the last round.
Okay, so General want to skip his 2-minute rebuttal and go straight into it. So you, whenever you.
Okay, I kind of had a feeling we was gonna end up here, so I prepared a little bit. So I deal with first the land being connected. The last time the land was connected in that fashion, you know, everybody is aware of the Pangea thing. The problem is Pangea was 300 to 200 million years ago. So like, that's not going to kind of work out. Now, the last time that we had an ice age was 2.4 billion years ago. the oldest possibility of the Homo robustus was 2.3 billion years ago. I mean, million years ago. So it's a huge discrepancy in there. We're off by a couple years. So there, as far as we know, from a scientific aspect, there was no humans anywhere near here around that time frame. So now, if we can go, and I didn't mean to say billion, I meant to say million. So like it's a million years off between humans walking the earth and an ice age. So it's a whole million-year gap there. Now you got 100 and something million years between us and Pangea. So it's like we could speculate, but science doesn't take us there. There's no scientific evidence to prove that any human beings was on the planet. And even at 2.3 million years, we're only giving you one type of human species. It ain't like the planet was flooded with different people. There was the Homo robustus, and that's it, as far as science is telling us. So that's just a space where the only thing we can do is speculate. Now, oral tradition is what it's all about, from our people. So I got no problem with the guy saying that he's following oral tradition from his family and his ancestors. I ain't got no problem with that. We just can't stamp that as what happened with our people. When we go with what happened with our people, we have to do our best job to look at where the evidence points. And so the evidence points to, like I just said, the Homo habilis and the Homo robustus. And I had to correct myself. Actually, the Homo habilis is 2.3 million years old. The Homo robustus is 2 million years old. So that's it. You got two species in that time frame, and they got some primate-like features. They don't look like us. So all I'm saying is we got no evidence to support that argument. The only evidence we have leads us to believe that civilization started in Africa. So we know civilization began in Africa. The phenotype variation from all humans began. Africa is the birthplace of modern humans. That's irrefutable as far as science says, unless we find something else. So if the birthplace of life on this planet, as far as science can tell us, is Africa, then we have to understand the only way you're getting melanated people in the Americas is they traveled there by sea. There is no other way. Now, at some point, Africans, I know we don't like that term, but we got to call it how it is. At some point, says science, Africans built a boat and left Africa. And after that, and not until then, do you see any movement anywhere on the planet. We can't document any movement anywhere on the planet until we see Africans make the first movement. So we gotta honor that, because that's what history and science tells us. It don't tell us anything else. So that's what we gotta go with. Civilization began in Africa. The first people to build a boat that we know of were Africans. So that means the first people to navigate the planet were Africans. So what are you looking at in North America? Of course we were there already, because we came from Africa. As we said, 200 boats got lost on the way to the Americas. That's a whole goddamn... I don't know how many people fit on 200 boats, but my guess is that's at least a tribe. And after that, he sent 1,000 more. And that was in 1311. So if in 1311, think about this, our people were savvy enough to take 1,000 ships across the Atlantic Ocean. What are we talking about here, bro? It happened. And we was filthy rich when we did it. It happened. We just got to go with where the evidence points. We navigated these seas. Everybody didn't come back home. Some people decided to stay. Those people that decided to stay came up with their own ways, lives, and customs. If you was in another kingdom under the rule of somebody and you found yourself on a new land with all of your people and y'all got a couple dollars, shit, they might not want to go back home. We don't know. But what we do know is, what we can prove is, they built those boats and they left headed this way. And they never went back home. 2 + 2 is 4. I'll land.
The second debate I heard, man, today. 2 + 2 = 4. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 2-minute rebuttal.
Hey, yo, you know what? I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. I did what I did yesterday on purpose because I know how our people move. Thank you for proving my point, right? Now, the Moors, right? I gave the secret sauce. The Moors was the best navigators at sea, right? That's the one point. Thank you for making. Second point, we come from these, Airport comes from these people of successors, kings, queens, you know what I'm saying? Strong motherfuckers. Again, we out here ruling shit. We come from Airport comes from a landmass where our people rule shit, right? And now, again, this goes to my point. We let these skinny ass Portuguese motherfuckers come take us and enslave us and bring us somewhere, right? So, for what I'm gonna say is, 2 of my points was proven already. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna land right there. I'm gonna land right there because I got something.
Okay. Well, that will wrap it up. I'm gonna give y'all both 3 minutes to have a closing argument, and I'd like y'all to tell us at least one thing positive that we get out of knowing this information you guys debated. Rick, it's on you. I'll give it to General since Rick went first. I'll give it to General. You got 3 minutes on you, closing argument, and just give us one positive thing that we get out of knowing this information.
Okay, we rocking. All right. I just want to quickly address what the brother said. How did we get overtook? It's a couple different things. We do know that the European was the first to turn the gunpowder into a weapon. So the European was the first gun runner, the first gun smuggler. He took gunpowder and turned it into a weapon. So that very weapon is what he used to overtake us. Now, another thing is, we can go to some real quick in history. Frank Lucas, when he got pent up, what did he say to the police when they asked him if he wanted to snitch? He said, "Do you think I give a fuck about telling on some crime figures? What you want?" What does that mean? Tribes since the beginning of time have always rolled over to get rid of their enemy. So how did they overtake us? You got 2 African villages going to war. One of them is whooping your ass. And then the white boy pull up on you and say, "Hey, you've been doing business with him already." And he pull up on you and say, "Hey, we don't want Blase Skippy this time. What about the people you got up over there chained up? These are enemies anyway. You gonna get rid of our enemies? Fuck it, take them." Now, there was no such thing at this time as chattel slavery. So the only thing they were doing was getting rid of the competition. We've seen it 1,000 times. They just didn't know the competition was finna leave and never come back, because that had never happened before. So a lot of people was in tribal warfare. It was an easy way to get rid of your enemy and double up your money and your land. So that's how they was able to overtake us. It was a couple different avenues of how they was able to do that. Now, the other thing is, what was the purpose to this, or what could we get out of it? this is, like I said in the beginning, this is a very relevant discussion amongst our people. Y'all hear me say all the time, knowledge is power and information is currency. We need the knowledge to get our power back. We need the information to get our currency together. So these things are important. People who don't know where they came from cannot make a real decision on where they should be going. So if we want to make sound decisions on the future, we need to really understand our past better.
Well said, my brother. Well said. Brick, 3 minutes on you. Closing argument. And also give us a reason why it is important to know this information that you guys are relaying today.
First, real quick, I want to say I ain't with trying to debunk nobody's theory or anything, but Chinese, they made the first firearm. You know what I'm saying? And they was the first to weaponize firearms with the gunpowder. Second, I'm kind of confused because with saying that Africans was the first to take sail to the sea and move around and things like that, then to say like we had these people come capture slaves, already slaves from tribes. That becomes a different argument. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, I understand it, but at the same time, tomato, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But, hey, one thing I will say is that people need to understand their heritage. That's the most important thing. Because when you learn your heritage, you know yourself. You know who you are as a person. You know what to call you yourself, because as Black people, we have been the most racial people to have so many different identities within these last 400 years. That's 400, almost 500 years now. So that's like the most important thing, I believe, that we need to understand who we are, where we come from, who we are as people. That's it. Come on.
Okay. Now that wraps it up. I want to send a big shout out to General, UT, and Brick. You had a great debate. I'm gonna allow the floor to come up and ask any questions they have for you guys. I'm sure there's a lot of questions. We're gonna keep this format going for some weeks and see how this turn out. Anybody tapped into the Rumble, I hope you like the content that we provided, and stay tuned for more of our programs that we got going on. We got a lot of events coming up. Freestyle Friday, we got some more debates. Kareem that you heard earlier today, he's got another debate coming up on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. Shout out to our debaters today. We'll bring some people up. Raise your hand and make it easier, please. Especially if you got a question.
Hey, love Brick, super dope, man. Appreciate you for rocking with me, God.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate you, man. That's what it is.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, salute to Eddie. That was a great debate, man.
And we out straight, y'all. No, we
right
actually.
on Rumble CMB. We doing this. This is the first of many. We broke history. We're the first to do this on Clubhouse. Let's go.
Yes, sir. If you got your hand raised or you ain't get pulled up, you might have to leave and come back in the room. I'll send the invite to everybody.
Yeah, man. Scholarship class. Good job. Good, man. Scholarship said, man. Yes, sir.
Hey, I love when I hear Critical Minds building. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to you, General. Shout out to you. Boom, 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 Brick. Shout out to the moderator as well. Man, good job, everybody. Shout out to you.
That's building right there, Joe. That's building. Hey, yo, one thing I can't say is like I'm gonna say this, like I'm not even home, right? I fucked up and I left my fucking notebook in the house. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off memory and I'm going back and forth on the phone and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I can remember this. Word up, I had mad shit right broke down, bro. Word up, but it was dope, man. I like doing shit like that, man. Like for real.
See, it really don't.
I like the format, dog, because then it can't be no order. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody put their points out clear, smooth, calm, dog.
That was great, brothers. That was real. I learned a lot from that, from both of you guys. That was great.
Appreciation. It was dope though, man. Cause whether you left your notes, that's fucked up. I wish you had your stuff, but you good at taking what you hear and creating space for it. So it's still rock. I love.
I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And see, I'm gonna say this, right? I know how passionate you get with your argument. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad, like, you know what I'm saying, we kept it the way we kept it because, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna say this, two aggressive lines, like, it can go any way, but that shit was dope, bro. Like, that shit was dope. I appreciate it, bro, for real.
Yeah, it was super professional and respectful. It wasn't even no shots getting thrown. It was all love, God. Y'all know this is my shit. I can't wait to do it again. So shit, let's get it, man.
Hey, like I said, I like this shit, dog, because when you forced to listen, instead of asking the question as soon as something jump out, man, you get a whole lot different from conversation. You know what I'm talking about?
For sure. Now, anyone have any questions for them? Anyone, some questions? Come on, I know we got some questions. Everything wasn't answered. Okay, I guess not.
It's been think about it. It's been
a lot. You was talking about a lot of stuff in the chat. I think you got some questions, my man. You said something, Eddie. You had a lot to say in the chat. I figure you got some questions.
Oh, okay. See, I was about to ask General Quay, get the information about Massa Musa he's traveling on ships. Like, I wasn't aware that. I thought he traveled with camels and horses.
Right, that's a fact. When I heard that part, I was thinking the same shit. I thought they travel by foot.
Yeah, no, that's what. No, I was reading hold on, let me go back to where I was. No, I was reading off something about him and his brother. It really was about his brother, Massa Abu Bakr. And you could look up his name, just that name, Massa Abu Bakr, and all kind of stuff will come up, bro.
Yeah, I'm familiar with his brother.
This is from the okay. This is from the African. Wait, hold on. God, dog. I'm trying to blow it up. Hold on, God. I'm trying to see what is. I can't hide. What the fuck does that say? hot. The article is from August 25th, 2020, and it's clipped. I can't read it, but it says high humid. I can't read the name of the magazine, God, but that's the article that I grabbed. I grabbed a couple different articles just on the actual brother as opposed to Mansa Musa. But no, he this it's well known about the journey in 1311 Abu Bakr across the Atlantic Ocean. You could just look that up and you'll get all kind of shit. That's like something that's fairly well known about his journey. And the 200 ships. This is documented information.
Actually, now that I'm looking it up, I see some link talking about how he might have sailed to America when he crossed the Atlantic Ocean in 1311. But I was thinking about how they walked to Mecca with all of them, and it took a couple months. He was passing out the gold and all that.
Yeah, he had people with him carrying the gold. Yeah, I don't know if they were slaves or servants or what they were. But yeah, he had them holding all the gold.
Yeah, I remember.
300 pounds or something. It was like 300 pounds of gold. It was something like, I can't remember that exact number, but I don't got to look it up because this is my memory of the shit.
Bags. And they walked, it took a few months, they walked all the way to Mecca. And that's how everybody.
What you say, Kadar?
I said Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia. They went to Mecca.
Yo, you know what's crazy about that dude? They say even to this day, he still will be the richest person in the world. Even with the riches he had back then, he still will be the richest man. Richer than the richest man alive.
You know why, Brick? You know why?
He conquered a lot of spots, and he had a lot of money.
And then on top of that, they really couldn't count what's so up back then. So that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, the higher they could go with trying to get some approximate number on where he really had, you know what I'm saying?
So anytime they do like a richest person ever, or richest person in the world, he always number one. He always number one. Yeah, I believe his empire was enough to fund the entire world.
Alright, before we go off into that, unless someone got more questions, anyone got any more questions?
I would say once again, man, good debate, man. Love everybody.
For sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes our last debate. I got one. Okay. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, General, I just want to know what's the good site for me to go look up that criteria, right? Because I've been know about it, I read up about it, but kind of like all the images I be getting, you don't give me no clear cut feeling of that breakage from, like, they can really determine if there was slave shit. So if you know a site, just put it in the chat or something so I can go check it out.
I shoot you the link that I shoot you a couple links, but for me personally, like it's pages of the court hearing. I didn't just that ain't just no shit that I just grabbed off of internet from it. I went to the actual site and it's pages and pages of the court hearing. This person versus this person, court document, what time, what they got charged with. It's a whole heap of that shit. So it's like that's kind of the rabbit hole I went down.
Whatever you can send me, just send it. I'll read it.
I got you.
Can y'all hear me? question.
Okay, let's get it.
Wasn't Mess the richest dude in the world? Wasn't his trade from slaves and ivory? That's where he got most of his wealth from. So
Okay. Hold that question real quick, because like I said, I don't want to get away from the topic we had. I just want to close this out. Kareem, you there? All right, brother Kareem is busy. All right, so I just want to close this out. Great debate. Everybody that participated, free game. Joe, Ted, General, Brick, Kareem. Y'all did great. Y'all set the bar for the debates. Definitely, we gotta pick this back up next Saturday. Anybody that's on Rumble, tune in Friday. We do Freestyle Fridays.